Well, hello there. Welcome to another Tech Tips 411 PD live stream session. I am super excited today to talk to you about apps and tools for the 4Cs. This is probably one of my favorite sessions to share out my favorite apps and tools that you can use to engage your learners. So I'm super excited. If you are tuning in live, let me know in the comments that you're here. And if you are watching from the future, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jen and I'm an educational technology specialist here in Atlanta, and today the goals for our session today are we're going to explore some apps and tools that foster the 4Cs, and hopefully you're going to gain some project and lesson ideas that you can use to foster the 4Cs with your students as well. Awesome. Wow. Patricia, thank you so much for tuning in from Buenos Aires. Oh, it's on my list of places to visit once I can get back to safely traveling. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. So again, as I said, my name is Jennifer Hall and I'm an educational technology specialist, and that means my job is to train teachers on the best ways to use technology to engage their learners. And so I'm going to be referencing some projects that I've actually worked on with teachers in the classroom. So when we talk about the 4Cs, we hear that a lot. We hear that, you know, we want to foster students. Hey, I'm there, definitely. And I'm kind of proud of myself. I'm working on some learning some languages, which will make it a little bit easier to travel. So I think that's will be helpful. So why do we want to foster the 5 Cs? I'm calling it the 5 Cs because we hear the 4 Cs, 21st century skills, you know, collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. And I think there's a 5th C that's really important, and that is choice. Fostering empowers them as learners. So today, I want to talk about a couple of different tools and just ways you might want to use it. So the first tool I want to talk about is Book Creator. And let me know in the comments if you've ever used Book Creator. If you're a Book Creator fan, I'd love to know. Book Creator is a really cool tool, and it does have a free version that you can access to create up to 40 books and have one library. So you can actually try it out with your students and see if it's something you want to work with. I'm going to actually hop over here live and we're going to take a look at it. As you can see, I've created quite a few books here and a couple of different templates of ways you might want to use this. So if I want to create a new book up here, here's some benefits of why you might want to use Book Creator. Having students create something based on a topic that they've learned about in class, and this works in math, science, social studies, and ELA. Hey, my friend Sandra, tuning back in. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, all right, it's doing the super load. There we go. So having students create content, not just consume it, is really, really important. And having them have creative ways to show what they know is really powerful. And actually creating a product that is real world ready, like a book, is a powerful way to engage your learners. So you can start with blank books, or you can even go to templates. So as a teacher, you can create a template. So if you're working with younger students, you can start with a template and say, hey, I want you to add your content in here and not spend as much time on the design. The benefit of that is, as a former ELA teacher, anytime I would assign projects, they would spend so many times on the bells and whistles, like whether it was using Prezi or it was using PowerPoint. They would focus too much on that. And I'm like, I need you to focus on the content. And so what's great is you have some creativity choices with Book Creator, but you can create a template and force them to, like, I don't want to say force, but guide them, scaffold what they need to have access to. So if I want to go in here and choose a landscape book, I can do that. I can go with the comic style one as well, which is great for comic style books. So I'm going to click on that. And I have quite a few options of the content that I can add to this. So let's get started here with that plus. We always know the plus is the magic right here. And I want to add in panels, speech, thought bubbles, text, stickers. I can add in any of those to this book to talk about what I'm learning about. So for example, if they were reading a short story in language arts, they can actually create a book to show what they learned. They could also use it to create a biography about a famous scientist that they learn about in science, or maybe an event that took place in history. This is also a great way for, even in art, students to collect their artifacts and create a portfolio. So I can go up here and say I want to add a speech bubble. I can go up here. I can type in my speech bubble. All right, notice it's got that comic text. I can even resize this and move it around. I can go up here and add a few other elements to it. So if I want to go here and I'm right now on my cover, I want to add stickers. I can add in media. I can import my own images. So that means I can go and grab an image that I took of my own artwork and upload it. I can even take a picture with my camera and throw a selfie on there, or a group photo. So you can actually take a picture of the class and make this all about the class book. I can use the pen, I can use text. So I'm actually going to import an image here, so we can just search right here, and I'm going to search images. I can pull in from maps, I can pull in from files, I can import something from my Google Drive. I can even embed content that has an embed code. So now I've actually turned this into bringing in almost anything that you can imagine into your book. For example here, and I love that they've got this on here, you can bring in a Google form. So this can actually have an embedded assessment to it. So this could be a self-paced activity that you're using to guide students learning, or students can use this to create a product as well. I can also use Flipgrid, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Flipgrid, and I'm also going to talk about Adobe Spark here in a minute. But you can also use this as a differentiated tool, so you can put in content like a YouTube video with instructions or based on content that you want them to explore, and that can be easily embedded. So you have so many options of ways you add information in here, which is really, really cool. I can also go up here and add, again, those thought bubbles, text, and things. I can add in shapes. So I can add in shapes if I was trying to explain a concept. I can actually make my own Venn diagram here by adding in multiple shapes. Let's see here, I'm going to add in one more shape. Notice I can Control V, Control-C, Control-V, and I was able to make a duplicate of this. And now if I want to go up here and I want to add in text, I can do that as well. And it's going to be caption, title, and boom. Because remember, I picked the comic style version of this. I see here that Book Creator is great and strong tool. Students love working with it. That's awesome. So Book Creator started as a mobile app that was available on iPads, and now they have the web-based version, which means you can access it on any device, which is great. And I love it. Sandra, you brought some more of your friends there. Thank you so much, Marcia, for tuning in. Or Marcia, I apologize if I mispronounced it. I can add in those elements here. I'm going to go over here, look at, so we've got all these shapes. I can use the voice note here to search for things. So that means your younger students can even use voice notes to search. And again, all those different media and elements of here. I'm going to pull up here my other favorite thing, which is the voice recording. So right now I could do a voice recording and explain my thinking. So I could bring in an image, or I could create that Venn diagram based on the content I've learned as a student. And then I can also voice record and say, here's how I'm thinking. This is where I found the information. This is, I agree or disagree with any statements for your research. So you can use that voice record, which is awesome. You as a teacher can use it to put those voice notes in there to support students in learning. The other magical thing, this is probably one of my favorite things right here, is the ability to draw. So if you're using touch Chromebooks or using an iPad, this is fantastic because you can use the touch animation or annotation to draw. Or if your students have access to a tool such as, this is the Wacom tablet, which is a tablet with a pen that lets you write with it, which is kind of cool. You can actually draw as well, but it has this auto draw. This is the magic thing for me. I can't really draw, but I'm going to start drawing. So if I start drawing here, a little circle, I'm going to put a little dot there, a little dot there. Oh, look, it's guessing. What am I trying to draw? Oh, wait, there it is. There's my smiley face. So it'll bring in shapes based on what you're trying to draw, which is really cool for those of us that are not artistic. They have that functionality in there. It's really cool. And it says, well, did you mean this? And I was like, actually, look, I was trying to draw a planet or a moon or a smiley face, and I can add that in there. Pretty cool. The other thing that's pretty awesome is the fact that I can go in here and choose any of these markers and change the different size. I can go in here and change colors. And so if I go to I can change the different colors. Let's go here up at the top. This is the magic too. As you can see, I'm all about the color, right? Oh my goodness, I want to have a rainbow writing pen. How cool is this? So students really can create their own original artwork inside of Book Creator. So this is my magical design here. It's terrible. Don't judge me. I'm going to show you some examples that I actually already have. So if I go up here to information, I've got a couple of other options here. I can change the background. I can change colors, paper, border, patterns, textures. and add those other elements in there as well. When I get ready to play this back and I want it to share it, I can easily grab this share link, publish it online, download it as an ebook. It can even be printable. So this is something now, if you want to get a hard copy, you can do that. But I can also have it read to me. So now we've turned this into a tool that can be a teaching tool for differentiation. I can also go to these settings over here, choose side by side or one page at a time. I can choose the voice. Right now I've got English. I can choose that voice there. Got a couple of options. I can go down here and choose to highlight the words, play the multimedia, turn the pages automatically. So now I can set this up and it really can support your diverse learners, whether using it as a teaching tool or once they create their product as well. Coming in late. Yes, I'm talking about Book Creator. Yes, Pam, good to see you, my friend. You are a book creator expert. So I'm just dropping a little knowledge. It is such a great tool. So Book Creator is definitely one way to foster students' communication skills as well as their creativity skills. And because you can have them share and work together, you can share out the book and let them add pages and create one book story together. So that means you're also fostering that collaboration. So that's tool number one. What do we think? Yes, I know you love this tool. You have shown me some cool things using Book Creator. So thank you so much for being here. Let me know. What do you think? Book Creator. If you've used it, do you love it? If you haven't used it, are you excited to give it a try? All right. So my next tool that I think is probably one of my absolute favorites is using Google Drawings. Now, Google Drawings has so many features in it, and it can be a little intimidating for folks that have never used it before. But Drawings is, all right, Patricia says, I'll give it a try. Awesome. That's what I want to hear. Give it a try. So with Google Drawings, you've got this blank canvas here, and I can adjust the size of my canvas to be any size that I want. Karen says she's giving it a try. Loving it. Patricia loving it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So with Google Drawings, you can access it if you're a Google School or even on your personal Gmail account by going to your Google Drive and searching new under more. You're going to find Drawings. You can also type in drawings.google.com and it opens it up. Look at the students make wonderful ebooks and the teachers adore them. Oh, perfect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So starting with a blank canvas can be a little intimidating. So what's great about Google Drawings is that you as a teacher can actually create a template and share it out in Google Classroom and force a copy for each student. So that means they can start somewhere, but they can also start from scratch. One of my absolute favorite ways to use Google Drawings, and I'm going to hop over here so I can make sure I can share a couple of ideas, is that obviously for graphic organizers, having students create them, you creating them to engage students in discussion. For interactive posters, because you can add in elements and have things drag and drop. You can also create comic strips, infographics, be able to annotate on images. So you can actually have them bring in maybe an image of a cell and use the drawing tools inside of Drawings, Google Drawings to annotate. It's great for timelines because you can make your canvas be as small or as large as you need it to be. For digital manipulatives, you can actually drop in coins or shapes or anything that students can drag off the gray space, which is the outside space, not on the canvas. I use it for newsletters. I create my weekly Tech Tips 411 using Google Drawings. I created a template and I just change out the content. It's fun for memes. There is a little bit of photo editing capability because you can go in and crop shapes and mask as well as use some filters in there. And it actually can be used as an interactive whiteboard because you can do some drawing on it. It is only a web-based app. Unfortunately, you cannot use it on an iPad. That's kind of a bummer and a limitation, just something to consider. So I love working with students and having them create and start with that blank canvas. So over here on the left, this is actually a project I did with 6th grade social studies where students had to create a poster advertising a country where they had studied in their social studies class. And there are 3 requirements were that it had to have a tagline on it, it had to have the name of the country, and it had to have images that evoked that location. So this was my example that I created from shapes. Created the bus, created the Big Ben and everything, all from shapes. And I think it looks pretty good, not too bad. My other absolute favorite project is working with students to create planet posters. So this was a 6th grade science project that the teachers would have the students create posters, and there's a frustration level for students that can't draw. So this used to be an analog project where they would actually draw. I see my kids love it. They love Google Drawings. Yeah, I love Google Drawings. So I met with the teachers and I said, hey, let's talk about some ways. So I introduced the tool and they're like, all right, we'll be willing to give it a try. Well, that 4 years later, the kids absolutely love this project, and every year it keeps getting better with these kids starting from a blank canvas and creating these amazing creations in Google Drawings, which is super powerful. All right, so let's hop over here and play around real quick in Drawings just to show you a couple things. It does have a basic toolbar up here that should look familiar to you if you're a Google Classroom user. Not Google Classroom, Google Slides user. I can go in here and I can insert so many different things. I can insert images, which means I can insert them from searching in the web. So that means it's kind of a safe search option for students. You can search your Drive. You can pull it from your Google Photos. You can bring it in from a URL. So if you have the link to that particular image, you can even use the camera feature and take a picture and bring it right into your creation. Kind of a fun way to engage students. So you can do that camera feature in Drawings and Google Slides. We did a project 8th grade ELA at the beginning of the year. It was a poem. The students were writing a poem about me, and they took selfies to put in there on their workspace, and then they wrote their poems. So that camera feature is a great way to do it. You can also upload from your computer. I can put in text boxes, which means I can grab and write a text box. And notice when I add in a text box, I've got a few more options that populate up here. So until there's something on the canvas or that you selected something, you don't have all of these options. So if I click off of it, you're going to see that most of those options are going to go away. So, but when I click on that box or text box, I've got a bunch more options. So I can insert shapes, and this is where you can draw and create just about anything with equations, callouts, arrows, and shapes. So it's great for you to create a cartoon, having students create a flow map explaining their thinking. You can also add in tables and charts and diagrams, and my personal favorite is actually using word art. And the difference between, and I can type today, I really can. The difference between using word art and using text boxes is the fact that this is going to become, it helps, Jen, if you put that last little one there we go. This becomes one shape that I can go up here and I can use my paint bucket. Notice now that I've selected something, I've got some more colors. Let's go with a blue for Tech Tips 411. I can do an outline color. I can change that a little bit here. I can change the width of that outline. I can change my font. I can see the recent ones used. I can shop for more fonts up here if you want to go down the font rabbit hole like I do. And I can scroll through here and I can grab any one of these fonts. And now this has become basically it's become an image that I can resize. And if I want to undo anything because I just smushed it, I'll click that undo right there. All right, here's another little tip that if you hold the shift key as you're resizing something, it's going to keep it proportionately. So there we go. I've added my tech tips up here. Okay. Now it's hard to see on this screen right now, but the background on this is actually looks like little light gray and white checkers, and that's because it's transparent. The benefit of that is that means that anything I put on here, if I go to export it as a PNG, it's going to have a transparent background. I can go up here and I can resize any of my, I see here that my kids make bookmarks in Google Drawings. Oh, that's awesome. That's a great project idea. Thanks for sharing. I can resize the shape of my canvas. It starts out as a 4x3, but I can change it to a custom. So if I want this to be the size of a piece of paper, there we go. It will resize it. And now I've got this as a piece of paper. And now I've got this, what they call the gray area or the extra space that you can add elements if you want to turn this into an interactive activity. What's great about using Google Drawings is the fact that you can actually see a version history, which means you can see who's engaged in the document and who's made any changes if anybody went rogue and changed things that they should not have changed. That's definitely a plus if you're working on a group task and you want to be able to monitor who's doing what. You can see that version history. That also works in Docs and in Slides if you are a Google user. So I mentioned that we can add in all these shapes. We can also add in lines, so I can draw things. I can draw curved lines and polylines. I can make my own original shapes by choosing. I'm just clicking here and made a new shape. I'm going to go back here to the select tool, and now I've made this original shape that I can fill with any color. I can change the outline box. So there's really no limit to how you use drawings. And I want to hop over here and I'm going to drop this link. And I meant to have this up, but I'm going to drop the link in the chat here for those of you that would like to grab it. This is my All About Drawings page, which I have some examples, but I kind of walk through and I answer the question because a lot of people ask me, Jen, which should I use? Should you use drawing, slides, or Jamboard? And it kind of depends on your activity. So I created this one actually in drawings to explain the difference. But I've also got, if you're new to drawings, and I'm going to drop this link here so you can grab it for those that want to grab it. It's loading. There we go. There's some of those student examples and some teacher examples of things that have been created. But I have these practice tasks. So if you've not used Google Drawings before or you're introducing it to your students, these are 5 quick tasks that you can try that will help you get comfortable with the tools. So that's on that link if you want to check it out and get more comfortable with Google Drawings. There you go. And I have a how to use Google Drawings on my channel. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and you can grab that tutorial and check it out and see, like, I walk through all of the tools. Like, I could spend an hour just talking about drawings, but I just wanted to put it out there as one way tool you might want to use it. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. All right. So that is drawings. That's tool number 2. All right. So next up, we got to talk about Flipgrid. If we're talking about fostering the 4 C's, and in this case, the 5 C's, we got to talk about Flipgrid. And I absolutely love Flipgrid for the fact that it is an interdisciplinary tool. It is not a science tool or a math tool or an ELA tool. Look at this. I see here that you said made mind maps and badges to monitor their progression. Oh, that's awesome. That's a great way to use Google Drawings. Awesome. Because you can start with a template and then they can go in and add their own stuff. That's awesome. Very cool. And I love that you can go in and monitor students' progress if you're using Google Classroom. So when we're talking about Flipgrid, being interdisciplinary is amazing. It fosters that collaboration and communication if you have students working together. I know this past year, obviously that collaboration piece with Flipgrid wasn't an option because everyone was most likely working remote. They were in our district. And when they did come back face-to-face, the issue was we were keeping them socially distanced. So I'm looking forward to next year and resuming that ability to collaborate on tasks using Flipgrid. It builds those communication skills because speaking skills is definitely very important to be able to articulate and explain your thinking clearly. It does foster critical thinking because they have to do some problem solving or depending on what the task is. And I love that it gives every student a voice because the thing is that when I was in the classroom, you would ask a question and there was always that student that would raise their hand and be like, me, I know. And then there was always those other students. There was always the other students that you knew the answer, but they were not the ones to raise their hands. So there was this imbalance in the classroom and because there was always that student that was extremely vocal. What I love is that it gives every student equal chance, equal voice. I also love the idea of, I used to do my units at the end of the unit, we'd have these projects and we'd spend 2 to 3 days with everyone presenting their projects. And it would monopolize a lot of time. And then we have students that would kind of be a little frustrated getting up and they need that practice. So Flipgrid, I would have loved having Flipgrid in the classroom because what could happen is that everybody could be recording their projects simultaneously and uploading it to a grid. And then you could have students provide each other feedback on that instead of everybody having to watch everybody's presentations and you didn't have to hear 150 presentations on the same topic. You'd be able to allow students to be creative and use Flipgrid. I love that it's accessible on both mobile devices and on the web, and therefore it is accessible and free for everyone. So, and also there's a lot of features inside of Flipgrid that allow you to connect yourself to the world. So I'm going to hop over here real quick, and I've got my Flipgrid Cam up. So this is we're going to be fun here. I'm going to switch over here so you don't see me twice. But the fun thing about Flipgrid is the fact that you can go down here and you've got some extra features that most people don't know are there. So if I click on these options, I can upload a clip, So if I've recorded something, and I know this is weird because my audio's off, I apologize, but that's the fun of having a second camera. So I can upload a clip that I might have shot of a project that I'm doing, or we went on a field trip and I captured some video or whatever. I can upload clips and bring it in. I can also do mic only for those students that are not wanting to be on camera. They're just doing a voiceover. That's pretty cool. I can obviously mute. I can record my screen. The record the screen feature allows students to talk through other projects. So if they've created a PowerPoint or a Google slide or a Google drawing or their book creator thing, and then you want them to walk through the book and explain their creation process, or if they're an art student and you want them to talk through an art piece that they've created or a coding project. So many ways that you can use that. I can also go over here to the effects, and I can actually do filters. So if we're talking about something that took place over 100 years ago, I can go into the filters option and I could choose to, we can talk about like the noir and go to like black and white down here. So I can set the mood for that time. So I'm explaining that something happened back in the day. See, now it looks like it's back in the day, or maybe it's a haunted story for ELA and you're having them explain theme and plot based on what happened after they've read Frankenstein, and they want to use this kind of a mood or feel, which is kind of cool. And they've added, as you can see, a bunch more. Flipgrid keeps adding more and more features. And in fact, their Flipgrid Live event's coming up in just a few weeks, and that's usually when they announce the new features coming for next year. So I can't even imagine what else is coming. So I can use the filters option to set that. So for students to understand a time period, tone, mood, all of that's pretty cool. I can add in text over here. So now I can turn this into a polished production here. So I'm going to use the typewriter one. I did a project with 6th grade students this year, and I asked every student, I said, all right, so how many of you have used Flipgrid before? And they were like, me. And I was like, all right, I bet you I'm going to show you something you didn't know you could do. And they were like, okay, challenge accepted. And lo and behold, most of the students are just used to going in and hitting that record button and not using all these extra features like adding text. So setting context for what they're talking about. So you've got a couple of options here with text, and you can even customize them. I personally like this super power one because I can customize the colors. So I'm going to do that one again. So how many of you all are using Flipgrid? Let me know. Do your students love it? Wow, we got people from all over. This is amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, so I've got this. I'm not loving those colors. Those are not my Tech Tips 411 colors. So I'm going to go here. All right, and I'm going to click on the color, and I can choose the color here for the text color. I can choose the stroke color, and then I'm going to do the background color. Once I picked all the blues, there we go. And now I've made a custom little sticker for Tech Tips 411. So whatever the topic is, I can add that in there, which is kind of cool. In addition to that, I've got a couple other options that I can use here, the board. And this is how we did our weather reports for 6th grade science. We did weather reports. We were able to add up a board. And now I've got a split screen. I can have it be a whiteboard. They've added these. Look, this one's super excited. I've got sticky notes. They keep adding new options here. So you can add those, and you can also upload your own custom images. So I can split the screen, talk about things. I can have information on the side here as I'm working. In addition to that, I can use the board option and use ink. So the ink I can actually write. So I'm going to grab this here and go with blue. Now I will say writing is a little bit easier if you're doing it on your mobile device because you've got that touch option. Just a heads up there. But I can adjust the thickness and I can write on here so I can doodle. So I had a math teacher that used this to write out a math problem, and then you just click the undo and then start to record your clip and then hit the redo, and it's going to put it back on there so you're not wasting time trying to write while you're recording. So that's a little bonus tip there. I can also go over here. We looked at boards. We can add up stickers so I can upload. I can upload my own custom stickers, or I can search here. They have all these emojis in here. So of course, in case you didn't know, tomorrow is National Donut Day. In case you didn't know, I'm just letting you know that does look like a donut, or is it a cookie? I think it's a donut. So National Donut Day tomorrow, in case you didn't know, just a heads up. Yeah, you love Flipgrid, especially with it being part of Wakelet. Yes, having it embedded into Wakelet is a powerful thing. I talked about Wakelet the other day as a tool to level up engagement, and that's one of my things that I like, is that you can easily add a Wakelet into your Wakelet collection, a Flipgrid, which is great. I'm going to hop back over here and just point out we got a couple other things under the effects. So we got text. We can add in our own photos, and you can also add in frames. So now we're really leveling up that creativity for students to jazz up their creations. And what we did for the weather report is we used Google Slides. We did a little app smashing. We used Google Slides to create the overlay that you see around the screen. We were able to put the school logo and everything. It was super, super cool. So all of that is pretty magical. But here's where the power comes in, is I can actually, we're going to record this. This is going to be a hot mess because I've just added all sorts of stuff on there. So I'm recording my little video, and I have a little camera over here like, Flipgrid is fantastic. All right. I'm going to go next. Some stuff on there. So I'm recording my little video, and oh, look, I didn't want that very beginning part right there. I can shave off that very beginning. So I'm recording my little video, and I want to confirm that that's good, and maybe I want to add one more clip. So I'm recording my little, as a student, I can record my thinking, step 1, step 2, step 3, move through the process and edit it. Now I will point out, so I'm gonna do one more clip here. Who doesn't love Flipgrid? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes in the comments if you're a Flipgrid fan. Let me know. So I'm gonna go next. On there. So notice now I got 2 clips. So now I have the ability to have multiple clips together, and then I can stitch it together. And as a teacher, you can determine how much time they have. Do they have a minute? Do they have 10 minutes? That's up to you. I can even reorder this. So if I wanted that, I meant to say that first, I can do that. I can shave the beginning and the end. Who doesn't love Flipgrid? The only thing is you can't split clips. I see Sandra is a Flipgrid fan. Yes, Flipgrid is fantastic. So I can rearrange, and then when I'm ready, I can click next. I can shoot my little take my selfie. So it's gonna load up here. Like, because you got to be goofy on the selfie. That's part of it. And I can submit it now. Patricia said you didn't know that you can do multiple clips and rearrange them and trim them up and stuff. It's really powerful being able to do that. Now I always tell people that I absolutely love Flipgrid, but Flipgrid is one of those tools. Like we did our weather report, we had to plan ahead. We wrote our scripts out. We had all of our resources together so that we could record in one sitting, because you cannot save it and come back to it. Now, technically you could record some of it and download it and upload it into a new Flipgrid, but just letting, new video submission, you cannot save and come back to it. So that's something for students to keep in mind as they're working with Flipgrid. But as you can see, having way too much fun. So I'm going to click confirm. And as a teacher, you can use the Shorts camera to make your own instructional videos. I can easily share it with a QR code. I can download it. I can push it to Google Classroom. I can copy the embed code. I can push it to Teams. I can use it as a remind message. And I can even send this out via social media. I can copy this link and paste it anywhere I want. The QR code thing is pretty cool because you can have your students create videos, and they can, you're welcome. I'm glad that that was a tip that you didn't know and that helped you out. Awesome. So I can print these QR codes out and post them around the school and have a virtual tour guides around the school for open house. You can have your instructions in a short video posted at your centers in your classroom. So there's so many ways you can use Flipgrid to engage your students and then having your students create. I was amazed with what the kids came up with for their weather reports. Once I showed them a couple of things, then they're like, well, can I do this? And they had way too much fun. I was just thoroughly amused and impressed with their creativity. So as you can see, I've got all my shorts videos. There's my attempts at making my weather reports. I had way too much fun. The weather person does not have to worry about me taking their job, but I did have a lot of fun. So there we go. Flipgrid is another tool that fosters that communication, creativity, and collaboration when students work together. I had a math teacher that had students working on a math task, and they had to talk through their thinking, and they were recording together in a small group. This was prior to the pandemic, so there is the opportunity for collaboration if you have them submitting as a group their video response. All right, moving on to my next tool that I want to talk about, which is Soundtrap. So Soundtrap is a powerful web-based audio tool. It's great for audio creation if you've never used it before. There's a free version that lets you have 5 projects, so you and your students can create free accounts. It allows for collaboration, but you can also get an upgraded EDU account if it's something you want to monitor student projects. And you might be thinking, well, why would I want an audio production tool? How about creating podcasts? I don't know about you. I'm a big fan of podcasts. Prior to the pandemic, I was a podcast listener when I was driving to work every day. Kind of have missed it a lot. Now that I'm getting back to the office, I'm like, oh, okay, catching up on all my podcasts. But having students create a podcast is a real world experience. And I had the opportunity to work with a 6th grade social studies class this year. And because I had the EDU account, I was able to monitor and work with them remotely. And they were able to log in, and each student was able to create their part and compile it as one piece for their podcast. So what's great is I have some demos here. I do some little musics and things like that. But I can create groups as an educator. If you have the free account, you can have 5 simultaneous projects. So once you're done with their project, you can delete it out and then create your next project. So it's not a max of 5 over your lifetime. It's 5 simultaneous ones. And Soundtrap was designed with the purpose of you being able to collaborate. So maybe I'm a singer. I'll be honest. I can't sing, can't carry a tune in a bucket. But I can sing, but I can't play the guitar, and I want to actually have someone play the guitar. You can connect with people because it allows you to collaborate, and I could record my vocals, and that person could record their the instrumentation, and then we can create this music piece. But I'm going to go over here and click Enter Studio and show you this real quick. And so it was geared towards music, but now through education, they really are pushing the idea of using it as a podcasting tool as well. This is not how you share out your podcast. This is just how you're going to create it. It is web-based, and you can access it there via any web browser, but it also has a mobile app, which is really cool. So if you do want to have your students record audio, maybe on a field trip when you get back to the real world, and they're catching those sounds out there, maybe they're we had a project a couple of years ago where the students went to Oaklawn Cemetery here in Atlanta and capturing the audio to bring in. I also worked with a high school lit teacher that the students had to do biography projects, and they decided to produce podcasts, and so they had to interview people, and being able to record on their mobile device and bring that in to work on their project was pretty cool. So I can choose music or podcast. I can also play around with a beat maker. We're not going to do that right now. I could play some beats though for you. That'd be fun, right? Excuse me. All right. So I can browse the loops here. I can add a new track. I can import a file. So if I recorded something somewhere else, I can upload it. I can transcribe. I can even invite a friend. So if I was like, hey, Sandra and I are going to work on this, and this is what's cool because it's completely web-based. I could work with my friend all the way in Croatia and be like, hey, add to my podcast here. So if you're, as an educator, you're wanting to do a podcast project with educators, not just with your students, this is pretty cool. So I can say I want to add a new track. I can choose voice, microphone, piano, keyboards, guitar, bass. So I really can make my own music. I do a Shakespeare film project prior to the pandemic, and I can't wait to resume it, which allowed students to create their own modern retelling of Shakespeare plays, such as Macbeth and Hamlet and Othello. And then we would also even create original music. So this is a great tool for students to create their own original music to bring into their projects. So you could do a little bit of app smashing with creating in Soundtrap and bringing it into other tools. So I can add in guitar, bass, all that good stuff. I could also just do the voice and microphone, and it's going to record my voice, and I could say, all right, we're doing testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. And there we go. There's my voice right there. It dropped it in. I can have multiple tracks. I can move it around. I can drag and drop. I can crop. I can add effects. I can add in loops if I want to bring in here. I'm looking for some different sounds. I can go here and look for some sounds, look for stuff right here. I can add in instrumentation. So here's some loops if I want to add in a little beat right there. So I'm going to be like, yep. I double clicked it. And so just like that, as you can see pretty quickly, I was able to, all right, we're going to close you off over here, and we're going to go up, and I can add in music here. So once you're done, you can actually, I can name my podcast. I can choose to share it with folks and say, all right, I want to share it. I can share it out via email, and when I want to export it, I can save it and export it as a WAV file or an MP3 and share it out. Or if I want to bring it into another tool for some reason, I'm going to bring it into Adobe Premiere for filmmaking or Camtasia. I can do that as well. So that's a Soundtrap. I just think it's a really cool tool to be used for podcasting, or if you're a music teacher and you want to be able to record stuff. It's really, really cool. I see the students recorded their diary entries for a week on my cell phone, second grade and primary. Oh, that's super cool. See, so you could use a tool like Soundtrap for them to record and maybe jazz it up, add some effects. If we're talking about tone and mood, the ELA teacher and me can't help but be like, you know, is it a bright, uplifting mood, or is it a sad, somber mood? Music is tone, shows tone. So there you go. That is Soundtrap. So keeping it moving here. Got a couple more tools I want to talk about. All right. So next up, we got to talk about Adobe Spark. So Adobe Spark is like 3 amazing tools in one, because you have Adobe Spark Video, Post, and Page. So I'm going to hop over here real quick and just talk about them for just a minute. So Adobe is a free tool that you can actually sign up for free for education and link it to your Google accounts, and students have access, and you can even have your admin set it up so that you can monitor student projects. So we got it turned on for us. I'm really, really excited here in our district that we're going to have access to it for next school year, so that all teachers will have access to it for students to create content. So as much as I love Flipgrid, remember I said the challenge with Flipgrid is you record your video and you've got to submit it all at one time. Now, technically you could record it and download it and bring it into another tool for some further editing. So I can go over here and I can choose to create. I've got a couple options here. All right, and I want to create, I'm going to go to view all. Remember I said there's 3 buckets here. You've got graphics, web pages, and videos. So if I go to videos, you can see that I've got templates to start with. So again, I'm fostering the fact that students are going to focus on the content, not as much on the bells and whistles, but those students that can start with it from scratch have that option as well. So I always go with this one right here. We're talking about American history. So I'm going to give it a title. All right, 6. Today's the 3rd. There we go. And now it has some templates I can start with. So if you're working with your students, you can say, all right, we're all creating in Adobe Spark. You have a couple of choices. So you're going to choose this tell what happened, or promote an idea, or hero's journey. You could start there, or you could start from scratch. For those students, that's great for your gifted and talented students to have that blank canvas to start with. But you can scaffold the learning. So now I've got this. We're going to open this up here, and you're going to see how easy this interface is for you to use with your students. And even your younger students can do a really good job. So we don't need to watch our little explanation. All right, we're going to, there we go. So I've got my videos I can add in. Oh, it refreshed on me. Let's see here. That's the fun of going live. I need some think time. Come on, little Adobe Spark. You can do it. All right. It's thinking. It's thinking. There we go. All right. So I can add video, text, photos, or icons, which is really great for visual thinking. So students can record their thinking here, so they can do voice animation or voiceover for their projects. So I can, as a student, I can upload my image. Say I'm an art student and I've just created this amazing Picasso-inspired art piece. I can upload it, and then I can talk through my thinking and how I created it. I can use the templates down here. I can change any of these if I want. I can actually duplicate the layouts of what they look like. I can add in text over here, so I can type in text. I can choose, is it full screen? Is it split screen? Is it going to have a caption to it? I can drag and drop my text, so I can move things around a little bit. I can go up to the theme. So I've got a few choices in creating this, but I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole as a student. I'm not going to, I can scroll through here, pick the ones I want. So again, social studies, you're talking about something that took place back in the day. You're talking about turn of the century, the Great Depression or something, you can use the noir. You can use different colors based on your school colors if you want. I can embed in music. They have free music that's available, so now I can use that to jazz up my creation. And again, just a few options on the layout. So I can record, I can upload anything here. I can get some help here. I click on that, gives me a little extra help. But if I want to, I can share this, publish it. I can invite, excuse me, and I can even send it to my Google Drive. So now this file can be saved and it can be accessed later. Sorry, this is my second session of the day, so getting a little dry mouth there. I apologize. So I can invite someone to collaborate on this. It's not real-time collaboration, but you can partner with someone and say, all right, I'm going to do the first couple slides. You're going to do the second 4 slides, and we're gonna be good. So that is creating a video. It's super easy to do. And then when you're ready to share it, you can get that publishable link and share that out and load it into Google Classroom. So I'm going to hop back over here to home, and you can do the same thing with the other 2 options. Remember, I said there's three arms. That is, you can also create graphics or web pages. And you might be wondering, okay, a graphic, you can do infographics. I talked earlier, if you didn't catch it, my 1 o'clock session today was all about Canva Cool Creations. It's another one of my favorite tools. But if you're wanting to create infographics, this is a great way to do it using Adobe Spark. You can also use it to create web pages. And I think that's the other thing that sets Adobe Spark out as a really cool tool to use with your students, because you can create portfolios. Students can actually link resources, create their own pages, and so forth. So I'm going to go to web pages here. And I'm going to choose, I've got a couple of options here. We're going to start with the one on the Civil War. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Adobe Spark, have you been using it? Are you excited about it? Did you get an idea? Are you thinking, oh, I can't wait to use it next year with my students? All right. So with this title page here, I can add a title to it. I can add a subtitle. And I can add all of these elements here. I can add a photo if I want. I can add text, a button, so it's a clickable action. It's going to take it to places. So you can actually have this be your page to link to other resources. So because you can hyperlink it to a Flipgrid video, to a Google Drive file, to another resource that's been created in another tool. I can add in videos, photo grids, glide grids, split layout. So I can customize and make this a really engaging page. I can go up to settings, show header or not. I can actually go up here and choose to share this, share link, send it to Google Drive, and invite a collaborator if I want as well. I do have a handful of themes here as well. You can start with those templates, or you can start from scratch. And as you can see, I've got a handful of templates that are going to change things up. So I like this vintage one. So you've got some different options here. I think maybe we'll go with the Bruce. I like that block kind of text. That's pretty cool. So creating pages as well as infographics in Adobe Spark is another way to foster the 4 C's, and also that 5th C, giving them choice, because they can collaborate on it. They're critically thinking as they're problem solving for their activities, whatever the task is. They're mastering their communication skills. All of the C's are covered using Adobe Spark. So I think I got one more tool with the time we have left, and I want to make sure to cover those. So here's a couple examples. I will post this link in the video description after the live stream, so you all can have access to it if you want to check it out. So the last tool I want to talk about is Jamboard. And I love Jamboard because of the fact that you can use it for annotation activities, small group activities, and just collaboration. If you're not familiar with Jamboard, it's a great free tool as part of your G Suite and personal Google accounts, and it allows you to draw using a pen, forced choice on colors, Google colors there. I can add in images, I can add in sticky notes, so it's great for a parking lot. So it's a great way for students to collaborate and brainstorm, so they can drop ideas using the sticky note on this space. In addition to that, you can upload images, so you can have them communicate, do a check-in activity, like find an animated GIF or a sticker that demonstrates how you're feeling today. It's a great SEL activity. I can use the shapes to create graphic organizers, and I can add in text. So this is very, very streamlined. So I looked at Google Drawings, which has tons of tools. Google Jamboard is very streamlined and is a simple tool that doesn't have a lot on it, but I think it has a lot of potential uses. It has 20 frames. That means basically 20 slides. So you're not going to have this super long presentation deck. You can duplicate them. You can do a little bit of formatting, and the max number of people that can engage in it is 50. And I kind of seen that anyone above more than 40, it kind of starts getting a little bit slower. So it's really best to use it with a small group up to one size class. Like you're not going to try and get 100 people in a Jamboard. It's not going to work. So with Jamboard, and I'm going to drop this in here, I've got several templates that I'm going to drop this link in the chat. These are some templates and like a how-to. I walk you through how to use it, why you want to use it, my top 10 reasons. Here's that slides, Jamboards versus drawings, which one you should use. But I've got all of these are templates that you are welcome to use. So I'm going to grab this link and drop it in the chat if anyone is interested. And it's also linked. I'll make sure it's linked in the video description as well. So there we go. Tons of ways to use it. I'm going to hop over here. I was watching my time. I had so many tools. I don't want. So I'll be talking about a couple others in upcoming sessions. But the best part is taking these tools and app smashing, taking one or more of the tools I've talked about and adding in other tools as well, where you can actually have students create their original artwork in Google Drawings and then bring it into Adobe Spark or bring it into Book Creator, or use Adobe Spark to create a video and bring that video into Book Creator. So many ways you can use it. So I have all of these lesson ideas that I've put here. This is ideas for using video and audio in the classroom based on content. So again, this presentation will be linked in there. I've tried to sprinkle those ideas in as I've been talking, but there's even more ideas on this sheet. So here's infographics and social media style project ideas based on content area, and some ideas for creating a website or a blog or a portfolio, why you might want to do that. So our goals for our time were to explore apps and tools that foster the 4 C's. Thumbs up to how do we do? Let me know. What do you think? You're welcome, Karen. I appreciate you being here. And the goal was also to gain project and lesson ideas for fostering the 4 C's. Did anybody gain at least one idea? Let me know in the comments if you got at least one idea or one tool that you're excited to try. Let me know in the comments which ones you're excited to try. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments on the video. I do my best to answer them, even if you're watching this from the future. If you haven't done so, please check out my resources at techtips411.com. Got tons and tons of resources available for you. In addition to that, you can sign up for my weekly Tech Tips 411. It will resume in August when school starts back up here. I'm on a little summer hiatus. See this. Thanks. You're welcome. Book Creator, definitely. Awesome. Thank you. Lots of interesting tools in one place. Thank you so much. Well, you are great for tuning in. Flipgrid, you started today. Awesome. So maybe I was able to give you another little idea or tip or trick for using it. Awesome. If you're on Facebook, you can like Tech Tips 411 on Facebook. We'd love for you to do that. And if you are tuning in via YouTube, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel so you're notified of upcoming streams when I'm going to be live for those. I am super excited to share my mobile app if you want. It has all of the goodness of my website in the palm of your hand, so please check that out. My next session, I've been doing these on Tuesdays and Thursdays, going live at 1 and 3 p.m. Eastern time here in Atlanta. And so my next one will be on Tuesday of next week, and I will be talking about awesome assessment tools. So join me for that one if that sounds interesting to you. I see here that Soundtrap is something new to you and you will try it for sure. Awesome. Please let me know. And I see lots of other, me too. Good ideas, good things to try. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I would love for us to connect. If we're not already connected, please do so. If you are interested, you can check out my, join me for Just Ask Jen. I'll be going live on Wednesday the 16th for my monthly Just Ask Jen, which is a bunch of different topics. And I answer your questions live. So I'd love for you to tune in for that. So make sure you subscribe so you're notified about that. So all the ways we can connect. This has been a blast. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun doing these live streams, and I appreciate you all being here. For those of you that are here with me live, then I feel like I'm not just talking to myself, that you're there, you're listening. Thank you so much for commenting in the chat. And if you're watching from the future, thank you so very, very much for that. It's been a blast. Thank you so much, and I will see you all on the next one.